Hello, my name is Chinne Okoronkwo, and I will be going over my interior design portfolio. I began with including all of my current contact information as well as my current resume slash curriculum vitae. I have been applying to Master's of Architecture programs, so I have listed here the architecture classes that are relevant. I also went over work experience, leadership and extracurricular skills, scholarship awards, and education. My table of contents outlines the projects that will be in my portfolio, and it shows if they are residential or commercial, as well as the different programs used to create these projects. The first project I will be going over is the Cavalis House. This was a project where I interviewed a client and the house was tailored to their wants and needs. So the house was placed in the Pacific Northwest, and the overall goal was to have the house be a backdrop to the beautiful area. The client really wanted to highlight the views of the evergreens and the Puget Sound, and this was really important to them to be connected to the nature. So we can see that the living room is a very big impact point in this house. So the client really wanted a space where they could gather with their friends and family that could fit a lot of people and had a big impact. So as you can see in the bottom right, there is a full wall of windows that lets them see beautiful trees in the Puget Sound and really just take in the views of the area. We also have very comfortable furniture and a layout that allows for them to gather in this space. On the bottom left, you can see the materials that were used. The clients wanted an emphasis on natural materials and a lot of wood just to give it that home and inviting feel. Next, we can see the kitchen, again using these colors with the contrast of the black, and we see the very custom master bedroom. So the clients wanted a walk-through closet, and they wanted the bed nestled in that sort of floating wall. Um, the the second floor is also customized towards their children, whom were also interviewed to get their specifics for what they wanted in the room, which is why they're laid out in a more unique version than just your typical room. On the right side, we can also see the first floor and the large living room space that was there, as well as the kitchen and large pantry and two-car garage. This project was a really fun one to create, working with an actual client and understanding how to combine my design style with the wants and needs of the client. So next we have the Turning Point Community Church. This project was done for our collaboration studio, and it was developed with 3 other interior design students. So this project was essentially doing a church that also had a community outreach center. So as a group, we decided that the community outreach center would be a space that would really involve all ages of the church. So we decided to do an activity center. So we included an interior turf field. We also have an exterior turf field and a basketball court, as well as dance studios and a commercial kitchen that actually doubles as the kitchen for the church cafe. So on the right side, you can see the entrance to the Kids Point Church with the curtain wall that allows users to see into this community space, and the rendering of the indoor field and windows into the dance studios, as well as the large garage door that really connects the interior outreach center to the exterior space of the building. Another large portion of this project was the common space. So this area really was meant to be a multifunctional space. As you can see, we have different types of furniture groupings. We have the cafe in the back and the landing space with the desk. This area was just, we wanted it to feel bright and light, but also have impactful design elements such as the moss wall. This was a way to grasp sort of the concept of the church from their very natureful roots, and to also bring in just texture and color and add an impactful statement to the room. We also have smaller details in this area, such as the Kids Point signage. One of the big uh, topics that we sort of touched on for this project was the entrance to the Kids Point. So our group decided that we wanted to nestle this entrance a little bit farther back. And we did this to have sort of a sense of security for parents dropping off their children so that the Kids Point entrance wasn't the first thing people see when they walk in, just for safety and security reasons, and to make it feel as though there was a slight journey to the area, but also still welcoming for new users and people who haven't been there before. Overall, this project was really fun to learn how to work with other people and understanding how to deliver work on time and to work with other people and really combine our ideas to create the best space that we could. The next project I will go over is the Bloom offices, and this was for the Department of Design at the College of Human Sciences at Texas Tech. And one of the big points of this project was really to promote the health and productivity of the users of this space. One of the fun elements that was included in this project was actually a physical lighting screen. So we drew out designs for this screen, we laser cut it, and then we looked at the way it interacted with light, which are these pictures that you see on the right side spread. This is how the screen I created interacted with light. And we took the idea of this screen and then we put it into the project. As you can see in this large rendering, that is the screen that I created as a wall detail. So it just adds a little bit of fun texture to the space and also interacts with light in different ways. In the top right corner, you can see the floor plan. So as I said, one of the big points of this project was to promote productivity as well as health of those within. And one of the best ways through my research that I found was that natural light had a big impact on productivity and health. So finding a way to allow light into all of the workspaces, the individual offices, was really important. So in the top left corner, you can see the hallway where there are glass fronts to all of the offices. And this was done so that light could get into these spaces and that they would feel a connection to the nature and just get a little bit of that natural light so they're not sitting in artificial light secluded in their offices. The exception to this is the graduate office, which is more of a space where graduate students would be going in and out of and not so much spending all of their time in this space, as well as the conference room. This was put in a space with no windows because there's an emphasis on using media in this room. So having a screen with a projector that they could have conference calls on and do presentations on, it was really important that the room could get darker if need be. And this was easier to do without that access to natural light. In the bottom right corner, you can see the lighting studies that we did. This is a more artful representation of the lighting plan that I produced, and it just shows the areas that get this artificial light, as well as combining that with the the natural light that was provided. Another focus on this project was the idea of layering different types of light. So using the natural light and the artificial light, but also including elements such as dimmers and timed lighting, just to fit the needs of those using the space and to give a variety of different types of usage of light. Overall, this project was a really fun one to understand how different elements can impact productivity and health, and really how to foster a good working environment. Lastly, I have a project called the Hideout. So this was a project that was a small vacation home, and we got to pick where the project was, and I chose to have this little vacation home nestled in the mountains and have it be very secluded. The idea was to have it be a sort of like honeymoon spot for new couples, or just really a getaway for people to connect with not only nature but each other. So this project was really fun in the way we went about creating it. So the first thing we did was we cut up strips of paper and we crumpled it into these little wads. And basically, we did overlay sketches, and we did overlay after overlay to create the facade of the building, the exterior elevations. So this was a really fun way to get out of the typical, like, your square for a building or the rectangle. It got us out of the typical shapes, which was really fun to work with. And that's why we have these interesting facades with different angles than you would typically see. So the interior of this space, the floor plan, I took an approach that was very open. So I wanted the space to just focus on the couple that was there with no barriers, just an open space, a lot of views to the exterior. So they were also connected with nature. In the top right corner, you can see the rendering of the kitchen, which on the floor plan you can see is what the user would first see when walking into the space. And this sort of morphs into the living room space, which is also a very open space with a big bold fireplace. And as you can see, there's no walls separating the bedroom. This was just a, like I said, a very open space meant for the users to be able to connect with each other, but also large window walls so they can take in the views of the mountains and the area they're in. Just, vacation, they just see the outdoors and connect with it. The bathroom was placed in the bottom left corner. It's actually on a wall that is slightly angled, which gives space for the plumbing and infrastructure needed for the restroom. This project was so fun overall. It was really great to be able to physically sort of look at space and look at how volume is created, and then turn it into a fun vacation space. So that is all for my portfolio. Thank you so much for your time and attention, and I hope you learned a little bit more about me, my design style, and my work throughout earning my interior design bachelor's. Thank you.